G4 Studios, Scotland. All into it's time for the third podcast.
Husband was a bumder.
And that opens up this week's podcast.
He's coming off you bumder.
It's been a little bit later this week, getting ready for the podcast. We obviously went down and seen Oban Elliott down in Wales.
Aye,
great experience for us.
Lovely guy.
I was speaking to my partner last night, and I was like, that was one of the interviews. I get the same experience with Dan Hardy, and I got a very similar experience with Oban.
Aye.
There was something in him. There's something quite inspirational when you listen to these guys. They're very inspirational.
There was a very specific bit he said for me when he talked about his dad, and he was like, well, maybe he just didn't die for no reason kind of thing.
Aye.
And I remember just being like, fucking hell, it's quite a heavy thing to carry about.
I know.
It's a young guy.
Motivation as well.
Aye,
massively
for sure.
Motivating.
But like, I wouldn't want to fight a guy taking that into fights, man.
No.
Probably no up for.
Do you ever remember
Giving
Paul
much
Felder's
ground.
old man died, and he fought Stevie Ray?
Was that then?
Aye, and he
Fought like a fucking man possessed.
Aye, you're 100% right.
I remember that.
He was fueled by something different.
Aye. There is these guys, like
that use it as motivation. Aye.
Mm-hmm.
But then you, in the same breath, you look at the weekend's escapade with Anthony Smith, who lost his mate.
Aye.
Sort of,
I was watching some stuff on that this
sort
morning.
of crumbled him, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Do you think facing these terrible incidents, sorry, fucking my son, dealing with these horrible incidents early in life is maybe better? Because now, right, if you're a young guy and you suffer that type of a loss, you're a parent dying, which is like, both my parents are still alive, but if you deal with that early and then you just go, well, not much worse can happen than that. And
see, I think it can be quite polar opposite, because you get people who have not got parents, or one of their parents are dead, and they're absolute fucking chaos.
Mm-hmm. And also I know people our age who they lose a parent and they didn't recover, which also kind of shocks me a bit, because like
it's inevitable that parents are going to die. If they die,
you can't have thought they were going to be here forever.
Aye, natural causes, like maybe some sort of medical issue, but they've made it to a good age. Then I think you need to embrace that and be like, well, aye, they've had a good life. But if it's quite sudden and unexpected and taken before their time, then I get that's why you'd be kind
There'd definitely be a bitterness as well,
Aye.
Like, why did that have to happen to me? But no, Oban was a great guy. I really enjoyed talking to him. We had a cool night after.
And we're going to release it New Year's Day.
Very, very authentic man, eh? That's the best way to, I was thinking about how if you were just describing him in a word, what would it be? And he's just a very, very authentic guy.
Yep.
I think he's...
And then we've got the gloves here. We've got... we got him to sign some gloves.
The Welsh
UFC,
gangster.
The Welsh gangster. So we will be giving them away to the listeners of Open Mat. Not sure what it's going to be. Probably like share that kind of stuff. Increase our
some sort of cool guy will get that.
Aye.
The best, mate. How many times have we to say this? The best giveaways, mate. The best and will that be open to everyone? Every listener? Or will that be a Patreon exclusive, Craig? What do you think?
Mate?
We'll need to discuss. We could maybe do one of the gloves public, and then one of them for the Patreon.
Just for Patreon.
Aye,
I kinda like
maybe do that.
Because our Patreons, you know, they're great supporters, very loyal supporters, and it's for a very small amount of money you can win some extremely fucking cool stuff.
Obviously a much higher chance as well for the Patreons, so just because there's
smaller
fees.
Whereas if you're just a Welsh gangster fan and you go into your YouTube and make a comment, and there's a good chance you might not be a fan of the podcast.
But no, great week. Great. Just like you say, it was one of those podcasts. Like, this was going to sound a bit, I know we were going to talk about MMA and stuff, but see, since that day we spoke to Dan Hardy, I've probably not had a day go past where I didn't think about some of the stuff he said. Like, I didn't think I've spoke to...
Just all of these guys we've spoke to.
Aye.
You know, just some of the stuff they say just will resonate more with separate individuals, isn't it? Like, so some of the stuff that Mark Ewan was saying was like, aye, he's a young guy.
Aye. That's it now. Now we're getting to a stage where we're having so many of these conversations with such unique and interesting guys. For me, like, I'm able to take wee bits away from all these guys and be like, fucking hell. Like, why was I doing things like this? And then I spoke to this person and now I've flipped it around and I'm doing it like this and it's infinitely better. But what's a mad thing that I keep seeing with them is they don't realise the impact they're having. Like, none of these guys, I would say maybe Dan Hardy's aware that he's helping people.
I'm just going to butt in there and say, what were you saying? You were talking about something after we'd spoke to Oban, and it was about how people feel, and most people are feeling this way.
They need hope. They're hopeless.
I was thinking more along, was it the we feel like we are imposter syndrome?
Aye. Everybody's like racked with it. Fucking even, well, I shouldn't say that one. The other person who appeared, he has it too.
Right.
And you're just like, how the fuck can you not feel like you belong here? Like, Oban knocking people out in Madison Square Gardens, predicted it. Remember he said, he's like, I'm going to go out to MSG. I'm standing on these scales, like the Ali Frazier scales. I'm going out there, I'm getting this highlight knockout. And still was like, wow, did that really?
I know, I don't feel like I deserve to be here.
Almost at that level. And the sacrifice has been so huge. Like, you didn't get to have a life, mate. You didn't get to have a life and fight at Madison Square Garden.
No.
It's just, the two things didn't go together. And I know people are going to go, oh, look at fucking Jon Jones. That's like an outlier. That's a one-off. But all the other guys who fought at Madison Square Gardens, like, Stipe's given years of his life.
Do you think Jon Jones is not giving up all this time?
I don't think he gives as much.
See, I don't know. I think there must have been a point where he was so dedicated to this sport. And I think you see it. So him against Cyril Gane, he came in a different animal. I think he was motivated to have that fight, and I do believe he was probably in the gym working hard, be it through conditioning or...
But I think at MSG, didn't he look in good shape or that? Just looked fat, mate. Like, Stipe was in considerably better shape than him. And is 44? Like, it's a much older man. Do you know what I mean? And I don't know, well, it's Colby Covington saying it, so you don't know if it's true. Colby Covington saying when they were at uni together, because they were at the same university, all Jon Jones was doing was shagging fat birds. That's what he was saying. He's like, the biggest, like, 300-pound slobs. He's like, Jon Jones just homes in on them, eh? And
you don't know how true it is.
You don't know. Colby says things. But glad to see Colby back fucking causing it.
He'll be fighting this weekend, isn't he?
Aye.
Are we going to do this weekend, last weekend's UFC?
Some kind of roundup, really.
Aye.
We had some funny moments.
Did I say that this was the greatest card?
You did.
Did I say it at one point?
Yes.
Best card ever.
Would you agree? From the start, when Kennedy and Choku, when Kennedy walked out, when it started, the show was off the chart. Every single fight was good.
Every fight was a banger, eh?
Aye.
Or every fight I watched was a banger. No, there was as well, we got funny moments as well. So obviously, we're jumping away ahead, but Bilal not being allowed in the cage. And then Conor McGregor's voice note, and just like there was these excellent moments. Brilliant submission by fucking Chase Hooper as well.
That was a great fight for as long as it landed. The scrambles to watch there was so fun.
Like,
Were you impressed with Kennedy at heavyweight?
Yes.
Because we spoke about this before.
Man can do no wrong, now.
Aye, like, he's on a bit of a tear. What is he? How many fights at heavyweight's had? 3?
I think it's 3 and he's knocked everyone out.
Like, that puts him in a good position.
1, 2.
So he had 2 fights. Aye, let's see. Sorry, two fights at heavyweight. Both first round.
I lost to OSP though. It's mad, eh?
It looks like heavyweight was a good move for him because he's turned around.
And
then
Dustin
you look at who he's beat. Look at
Jacoby.
who he's beat as a light heavyweight. Like Devin Clark's no slouch.
Nope, Cutelaba. Very dangerous guy.
That's my boy there.
Beat
He
Alberg.
beat Alberg, aye.
I didn't know that.
I didn't either.
I watched that fight. I think I might have called that fight for the BBC at one point. He pinned him up against the Gaines. I think Alberg was actually ahead on paper kind of thing, and he caught
Punch to see then.
right against the cage man, just the big mitts just colliding with his face and dropped Alberg.
And a loss too, of course.
Didn't beat this guy.
The beard you.
That was a rough fight. That was a rough fight.
I couldn't see. I couldn't
can't
see
see.
for about. I'm legally blind. I was legally blind for at least a day.
I remember the doctor coming and going, "Can you see?" And you like say something back to the
I
doctor.
say to him, if I can't see, are you cancelling this fight? And he said, aye. And I said, I can see fine. But I could not see. Like for a big dude, man, he's got a big fucking massive hand and fingers, and they were getting right into my eyes.
He's a big unit, eh?
Aye. My knees were all
Shredded.
as well. They were shredded.
Aye.
The man just told them to shreds. But I'm glad to see Kennedy absolutely causing it as a heavyweight. Sorry, and it adds that bit of difference in that heavyweight division, because if you look at the top 15, it's very stale at the moment, and just looking forward to these guys progressing. Like we've seen the vast majority of these guys hanging about the top 15 for a long time. New addition Mickey Parkin,
So I was just going to say there,
but Derek Lewis has been in there for a hell of a long time.
is Mickey Parkin on a collision course with Kennedy?
I think Mickey Parkin's just a couple of steps ahead of him in his heavyweight career. Well, he's fighting, is it Tybura next?
Yep.
Which would then put him in the top 10 after a victory there. But the issue we've got is
It's
when Mickey Parkin's maybe 2 fights or 2 wins away for being spoke about in a title contention.
aye.
But a title is his mate, Tom Aspinall, his main training partner.
Aye.
So what do you do?
It's an easy one for me. It's you didn't.
You didn't fight him. So if you've got all the skill in the world and you're just not going to be the champion,
Do you need to just do what Marab did
Maybe
when
or-
Aljo was champion and just
what-
wait?
Or what DC and fucking Cain Velasquez done.
but then that means somebody has to then lose weight and lose.
Somebody's got to give something.
Aye,
That's the thing.
like because Mickey's pretty close. Like as I say, 2 fights he's going to be spoke about in the title contention. He beats number 8.
Oh, mate, once you get to number 8, you could
Can
step
you fire
in.
up that division again? Sorry, Craig.
You could be asked to step in at number 8.
Aye, so he beats number 8, takes his spot,
Heavyweight guys all take short notice fights as well.
and then he's looking to fight somebody like probably Pavlovich,
Maybe. Aye.
and then for that it's probably a title shot. Because the last thing you want is Tom and Parkin
Aye.
having to fight.
How do you...
Or does Mickey Parkin go like, listen, I know Mickey Parkin as a person, I don't think he would ever do that, but right,
How do you set it aside though?
I know you're the champ, and they probably know who's the better opponent. In the gym.
Undoubtedly already
So
in the
it's
gym, they
going to
know
go
who the
like-
man is. They'll know who the boss is in the gym. Sorry, Craig, I've got a wee buzz there.
Am I making loads of noise? I've not got my headphones on. Am I good?
I might just take my headphones off, that right? That'll know...
Right, we've not got any sound to hear, have we? Yeah. So it's going to be interesting to see.
what do you think about that though? Or maybe they've already spoke about it.
Right.
Or maybe they've got an idea already, like you would train in the gym at this time and I would train at that time, and for just 12 weeks we just have to shake
Who
hands. And,
does Tom's dad corner then?
I know. How do you do it though?
I've felt like Mick Parkin was a long way away from the title. Not because he's not a great fighter, but just I was like, right.
But it's creeping up now, isn't it?
Number of
It is,
factors,
the
though,
fact that he's
age
already
and-
ranked
yep,
and he's
yep,
fighting a guy, like it's coming a lot quicker than I had expected it to.
Probably coming quicker than he expected.
Aye, so I guess you do need to have these discussions where maybe they haven't thought about it.
However, are we at a situation where in the gym one's miles ahead of the other, so they just both know there's no need for an agreement because
But there might be a time when Mickey's like,
there'll definitely be a time.
you know, I want a bit of this. Like,
It might happen.
I can turn it on in a fight.
And anything can happen between two guys, mate. They could have a fallout. They could have it's like things do happen, eh? I'm not saying that's going to happen, and obviously I hope it doesn't.
Right,
It's
so
not
if you look
something
at
you want.
if you look at that top 10, like Tom's been in with pretty much the vast
Everyone.
majority of them. Volk,
Aye.
Pavlich,
Just going to go.
Blades,
Blades, aye, twice.
Spivak, Tybura.
Oh, he's not fought Almeida actually. Eh?
No.
𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗛𝗘𝗥'𝗓
But then, would you fight? Why?
No, I
He's
know.
a number 6 ranked opponent, Almeida. So there's no reason for him to fight.
Almeida was kind of talked about there for a wee bit as he was going to be the next boy, eh?
Aye, Curtis Blades slowed him down.
Waldo.
Aye. Well, to be fair, did he not take fucking
he?
Curtis Blades down about 7 times?
Who's this guy? 12-1.
I don't know this man.
He's number 12 or something.
Waldo 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗛𝗏.
Waldo 𝗟𝗘𝗔𝗧𝗛𝗏. That's a fine name.
Great name. Is he an American?
What flag
A
is
Dominican.
that, Ross?
Dominican Republic.
Boom. General knowledge of the flag game, top notch.
So he's been in the UFC for
2 years.
how many fights is that? Was that 5, 6 fights?
1, 2, 3, 6. Aye,
6
he's
fights.
5
He's
and
only
1.
lost 1.
Just shows you though, there's room for movement at heavyweight.
And he was the champion at what organisation is that?
LFA.
LFA. See at the side there. Interesting.
Very cool.
Right, and then we had Clay Guida. I've trained with Clay.
Have you?
Aye.
Handsome guy, by the way. Still think he does a bit.
He's obviously getting a bit older now. I think a lot of people are throwing him shade for his age. I think this card's been kind of overshadowed with fighters in their age. But it was
are
a
we
good
to
fight.
tell him no?
It was a good fight. Hooper was looking very good. And did you see he'd just been shown that move, or they had done like a sort of wee breakdown with Mike
Musumeci. Aye.
There was like a wee video of him running over this with Mike because he was in
Setting up the submission for the same position and
both of
everything.
them were in, was it New York maybe?
Aye, when you were there.
They were both in New York and they both got a role. Kind of cool.
That's very cool. And then just hits it. Just goes, oh, that's the one I've just been doing.
Very, very good fight. And then was the next fight, Miko Chiesa.
Mm-hmm.
Like, look, this is what I'm talking about. This card's brilliant.
And look how far down he is.
I know. That's how it shows you how good the card
Was
was.
it an RNC for him? Aye. Aye, it was, eh?
It was a good fight.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know who this. I don't know Max Griffin.
But he's been beating up everybody, eh?
Like even when he come up, I was like, I don't know who this guy is.
Uh-huh.
That's on me. I'm not in the weeds.
We need to be more like Craig here.
I didn't bother watching the Durridge fight. Durden fight, Cody Durden. Who's Durridge?
Fought Bo
Is that who it
for
is?
you.
That you missed out.
Was that a good fight?
That was
Aye.
a good fight.
I didn't watch
Joshua Van put a fucking beating on Durden. He looked like Max Holloway.
Really?
Looked like Max Holloway against Keita.
Is that because of the tattoos or more the...
No, just the way he was fighting.
Just the way he was fighting, put on an absolute beat.
Aye.
Aye.
Pieced him up.
Right.
Good.
And then
Unanimous decision
looks
win.
like he's going to get himself a number. If he's beating the number 14.
Beating the 14 guy you're in, eh?
Let's see, actually.
Excuse me.
No. Still not ranked. Oh, wait.
No, he was 15 there, sorry. Joshua Van,
Aye,
15.
you're right, 15.
Just beneath Asakura.
And then we had
Chris Weidman, Anacondas. Weidman taking some fucking shit after, eh?
just for being an old guy.
Just for being not looking great. What do you do, mate? What do you
Keep
do?
going, man. You keep fighting until
Exactly.
you know yourself you don't want to fight.
Until you don't want to, I think, is the main thing, eh? And
Do you think guys like him, Clay Guida, Tony Ferguson,
is it money or love of the game?
that's what I'm going to say.
Aye.
Is it financial? Do you think these guys need money? Or do you think they just love the grind? Or is it just it's ingrained into them? Because you think about a guy like Chris Weidman coming from a high level wrestling background, he's going to have been training wrestling
Competition his whole life, eh?
Aye. And when you get to like 36, 37, and you just going, what age is he, just out of curiosity? This is I
think he might be 40.
is he as old as 40? We were lucky enough to be down at Short MMA this weekend, and the product that we are massively behind is Anaconda's knee braces, and we've seen one of the greatest coaches in the UK wearing this. Jack Show's dad, Shaky, is a absolute pioneer in the sport of mixed martial arts. He said some of the best fighters coming out of Wales, and if it's good enough for him, I'm hella sure it's good enough for you. And if this Christmas you're looking to have Fine Knees start 2025 with the support of Anaconda. Then Ross, where can you hit them up?
You can get them at anacondafightwear.co. They've got a holiday sale. There's up to 50% off. And at the checkout, you put in leather 10 for another 10% off.
The link is in the bio. It makes sense. If you've got a Secret Santa, if you need to buy your loved one a gift and he is suffering from knee injury, shoulder injury, any sort of injury, Anaconda's got your back. Check them out. The link is in the bio. 40. There you go. So, is he just embracing the grind?
Or is it maybe a lot of time off? Like maybe he's had this one, and if he gets another fight,
he's coming off that break as well, isn't it?
Aye.
And he's just come up.
How you make your comeback for a leg break like that in reality? There's no way you're ripping low kicks like you used to.
Aye.
I'm not buying it, mate. I know they go, nah, I didn't even think about it. Do you know who I watched talking about it? Fucking jab low kicks the heat off everybody. Black guy, Brazilian.
Jose Aldo?
Fought Jose Aldo.
Does a spinning wheel kick.
Aye. Name's gone right. Edson Barboza. Right? Barboza, one of my favourite fighters ever. So after Weidman had done his leg, they said to him, are you gonna, because he's a southpaw. So it's usually when people throw their left leg for the back, it happens. Something like 90% of them are the left leg. And he went, I'm not going to stop. I'm just going to keep fucking doing it. And the very next fight, he'd split his shin a fucker. It's just the skin had just peeled right open. And he was like, don't care, still kicking like that.
And then a guy like Barboza,
shins will be like concrete.
Aye, who's built his career on just
Boom, boom.
smashing.
I love it, mate. I love that just jab smash. Like at some point, something's going to have to go though.
I like his style, just kick the shit out that
That's
leg.
a rough guy, eh?
Right.
I like him, man. Brian Battle, Randy Brown.
Didn't watch it.
Contentious.
Was it close again?
It was.
That was a close one.
It was a split. And
I've seen, was it a woman who's getting a lot of shit for this?
Adelaide Bird.
She's getting a lot of shit for being a judge, and she was also judging.
I thought Randy Brown won.
She done a. It was like, I'm sure it was a Canelo Triple G, maybe.
Aye,
and she
scored it wrong as well.
Aye, horrendously.
And now she's at this point where she's scoring the UFC and scoring it wrong.
She was. She done the Gan Volkov fight as well, which we'll get to. But aye,
Did she also do the Stirling and Evloev?
I'm not 100% sure.
Because
were you unhappy with this?
I'm not unhappy with it.
I thought Sterling won. I thought Sterling took the first and the third.
Really? Aye.
I can't agree with Craig in this one. I thought it was very, very close.
No, she didn't do that fight.
I think the wrong people. I talk about this all the time, mate. So, in fact, here's a good example: your fight with Kennedy. Every judge had you lost every round, and I can remember being like, "But you've just." I don't know if you remember, but well, you probably do. But you had fucking fucked up his arm early, like and I'm like, how does that not score? Like, I can't understand how attacks for guard didn't score. I understand if you're just holding the person and no progressing, but also the fight with Shogun. When you're just tucking in your elbows, putting your chin down and no moving, you're not trying to advance.
Yes.
So how the fuck can you just go, he's winning because he's on top? That's too basic for what's a very complex sport.
You've put it in there. You've nailed it in the head there. Because it's such a complex sport, it's really, really hard to have like a definitive answer of how you're scoring this, because effective striking to some people might not look effective to others, or effective ground control. It's in your opinion.
Aye.
So it's very, very hard to decide, all right, he definitely won that. Because when we watched the fight with Sterling and Evloev, I was like, I think it's close. I think Sterling's going to take it. And it went the other way, and I was like, I wasn't mad. I wasn't like,
no, it wasn't a robbery or anything.
It wasn't like Cyril Gane versus Volk. It wasn't as close. It wasn't as so far apart as that. But I still thought Sterling had just edged it. But I wasn't as cut up as I was for Volk.
Aye. I mean, really, if we're looking at...
Is that a good fight, but?
It was very grapple heavy, but it was
Depends what you
intricate.
like. I enjoyed it.
I enjoyed it.
I like the sort of intricate, the intricacy and the control and all that kind of movement. That's why I enjoyed that fight.
But see, sometimes, so like Evloev, his grappling's like kind of very safe. Does that make sense? Whereas Sterling looks like he'll go, fuck it, I'll just try this. And it might not work. I might lose position or I might get...
Sterling is such a tasty grappler.
Aye. But he's like, what I liked about him is he's willing to risk losing a position for a better position. Whereas I don't think Evlev would ever do that. He would always go, this is good enough and I'll consolidate for here. Whereas Sterling will go, I mean, I could get a finish though. And he'll take a risk. Do you get what I mean?
My back and but I'll end up.
I might fuck this up, but if it goes right, I'll end up in a better position.
I enjoyed the fight. Like as I said, like I'm in 310. I'm like, this is blowing the tits right off me. My tits were, I don't know where
missing.
They were missing. They were blown off
somewhere in the kitchen.
Did you see this guy's no guy? Who sent him? The Rock took it off.
Took it back off and for getting
like,
choked.
Fucking hell, why you get choked out?
Do you know what? That was one of the mad ones where as soon as I saw that like top arm come over, I was like, he's out. I thought quite quick he's going to be unconscious, and obviously
he did get a bit of a push with
the Rock.
Because how many fights is he in his career? Like 2?
Only a couple now.
Aye. So it's very early days to fight a guy like Luque.
Luque is going to show you no mercy either. Eh? He gets a chance at that neck, he's taking it.
Aye, it was a good fight as well. I enjoyed it.
Dom Reyes, Anthony Smith.
Did you enjoy this fight? Did you feel bad for Anthony Smith?
Yes.
Aye.
It's a sad. This is a sad movie we're watching. Eh?
Aye.
What do you do, man?
Do you want to see him fight again?
No.
I kind of do.
Who? Smith?
I think Smith's got. I think he's still got it in him.
He did. Definitely. But he's got demons. Eh?
Aye, he's went through a bit of a rough patch with regards to losing his teammate, who was his friend and coach and all this kind of stuff.
Needs to get better, mate. It's
but skill wise, I don't think he's
still tough as fuck.
You could be the best fighter in the world, though, and if your
head isn't it?
If you're dealing what he's dealing with incorrectly, then it's not going to matter.
He's got a good career ahead of him in the world of analytics. He's the guy for ESPN.
He's on the desk, mate. He's wearing a suit. He's looking good. Does he need to be in there, or does he just love being in? Is it love of the game?
Hey,
he's also had what?
50 fights.
I think it's closer to 60. That was like his 59, maybe I want to say.
Good.
Wow. You'll never see that again. No. You'll never see guys with that many fights again. This is it now. This is like the last of the Mohicans, Anthony Smith and that.
Yeah, this game's so close as well. Even when you're fighting in the top 15 against somebody like Dominic Reyes, who went on a tear, went for the title. Some people think he might have won it. So you're not fighting against a slouch.
No.
So it's very evenly matched and very, very close.
And then people going like, I know I picked Anthony Smith to knock out Dominic Reyes, but like, he's only been in there with the best guys.
Aye.
At no point did they go, listen, Dom, here's a boy who's just new to the UFC. Get yourself back in the win column. That doesn't get done, mate. No. They didn't care how good your fight against Jon Jones was. Next year in with Jan. Next year in with Prohaska. Next year in with fucking someone else who knocked you into the shadow realm.
I didn't watch Nate the Train. Good fight.
It
was more one-sided than people were expecting it to be.
It wasn't what people thought. They thought it was going to be a meet in the middle and shoot out.
Aye. And then that's why they put it on that the main card fight. So I don't have a dog in this fight. I thought Nate the Train they were giving him a little bit of push and
I thought they were too. Aye.
But this is a
Troy done his job, man.
Doesn't matter doesn't matter.
Don't
you're
care who you are, mate.
Next fight, you're only as good as your next fight to these guys. Bryce Mitchell's fuck the seatbelts.
And the handsome Cron with a very dangerous guard pull. Which
took Paul's advice and get a haircut as well.
Aye. Like, mate, your hair was shit. I'm just saying. Like, I've not got the best hair. I think I've got like a bit of slick back going on now. Like I'm in like a bad guy for a James Bond villain. Anyway, so Bryce Mitchell wasn't he really scared of that?
That was happy to grapple.
Old school grappling that the Crones fucking...
Actually kind of looked like he wanted to engage in a bit of grappling, and go, no, I can do this as well. Don't you worry. Good elbow.
Does Crone get cut for the UFC?
It's highly likely, I think.
Right.
Being Nate Diaz's pal is no enough, eh?
No.
And again, Nate Diaz turning up at the press conference and being a banger and fucking chucking the water bottles about and like he's going to do something.
Remember we were driving up and somebody said about... Brendan Schaub talking about jiu-jitsu. This was the fight he was talking about. Somebody had sent me the clip. And it was this fight, and he was like, I can't remember exactly what he said, but he was like, jiu-jitsu, if you've got a basic level of jiu-jitsu, enough to stop a few defences, he's saying jiu-jitsu is probably the least needed weapon in your arsenal of mixed martial arts. He's
well, a bit of
good wrestling.
context.
Aye,
Aye,
He's
that's...
having a good boxing style and good wrestling style is all you're really needing. And I kind of see what he's saying there. If you're he also said something about if you're a high level grappler, like a world level jiu-jitsu practitioner, it doesn't matter if you come to this sport. It doesn't matter.
I'd be pretty confident of shutting down a reasonably good grappler by holding him against the cage in my head.
And smashing them with elbows and punches.
Anything safe up the middle. Well, fucking 12-6 now.
Aye.
So how's somebody, like, if you were looking for a triangle, right, or an armbar, and at 12-6, how are you going to, the chances of you taking a hold of that, moving it across and locking up a triangle, quite low. It's quite a safe shot to throw if you're worried about getting triangled. Mm-hmm. I'd never actually thought about that before.
Aye, so that's what he was saying. And I kind of get it.
With context, aye. I see what you mean.
This sport is not, we've said this before, it's no grappling. This is not jiu-jitsu. This is mixed martial arts.
You can be smart enough to shut things down as well.
And you only need to have MMA for grappling. You don't have to have world level jiu-jitsu. Like going deep in half guards and trying to get these these sweeps when you're underneath somebody.
Mate, Damien Maya had some of the best jiu-jitsu ever, but he only ever did one thing in MMA. Went to half guard, hit everyone with the same sweep and went to the back. He never did anything. You never saw him and go, whoa, look at that. It's the fucking same thing every time.
And then moving on to the
big fellas.
Right.
So
the baddie 2.0.
Paddy Pimblikoff.
Cyril Gane obviously got the victory, went to the judges, and a lot of...
The judges hated Alexander's hair. They liked the bald guy. I don't know what you meant to say. I think fucking Volkov was unlucky not to knock Gane out in the second round, hit him clean in the face with a shin.
It was a good fight.
Volkov done everything right.
But I definitely think Alexander won it.
Yeah.
Comfortably.
Yeah.
I don't think Cyril Gane done enough. I think he was half a step behind him in every single
and he
exchange.
He looked disappointed. He was ready to leave the cage. He did leave the cage, in fact, did he not?
Strikes, takedowns, he's ahead in absolutely everything, isn't he?
Submission attempts, he went for one more.
Significant strikes, still ahead. But
that's wild.
Going 5 rounds, Volk, do you think he just steamrolls and takes it?
Maybe, aye. Or even gets him out of there.
Mm-hmm.
Hits him with something and drops him.
I think Dana White had said that he's going to look after him, and I don't think he's going to look after him in the sense that, I'm going to give you financial gains. But I think he's going to look at him as a 5-0 fighter now. He's going to try and promote him to the point of if there's a title fight coming up, it's probably going to be him versus Big Tam rather than...
Oh, do you think so?
Rather than Gane.
I think the UFC's got a couple of problems with it being Volkov over Gane because there's only one guy can headline UFC Paris. Also, London's got... I don't think Tom's going to fight Cyril at London. I don't think Tom's going to fight him.
No, that's a fight night, so I don't think you're getting a title fight.
That's a main event.
It's not going to happen. So, but when you've got 2 European guys as well, it kind of seems sensible to make them fight each other. But like you say, that has to be a Las Vegas job or an MSG.
Do we have any out with Paris, London? Is there any other top European shows coming in?
Spain, Madrid.
I don't think
there's no confirmation now.
No,
but like for the last couple of years, all we've really had is Spain,
London and Paris.
London and Paris.
Aye.
Remember, we used to get Sweden. We used to get like other places in Europe.
Denmark. Sure, they've done Denmark before.
And were they talking about Germany?
They mentioned it. But if they're going to start doing it, and Dave Shaw did say we're branching out, we're going on the road more. Hopefully that means no just America, and they are going to sort of go worldwide.
Mm-hmm.
When they say go worldwide, they're like, we'll go to Saudi Arabia. I fancy going to Saudi Arabia. We'll go to Dubai. These are where they're getting caught up. And I'm glad that we have the cards because it makes it a more reasonable time for us to watch.
I get the Saudi because they've got fighters who obviously there's a lot of fucking world politics now with stuff, and certain guys can't go certain places. So Saudi makes sense because these guys have still got to get fights, mate. They've still got huge fan bases, your Chimaevs, your Makhachevs.
And if you fire them in Europe,
but that's what I'm saying, they can't come.
Surely they can.
Mate, I don't know the ins and outs yet, but Saudi seems to be an easier option.
As a fan as well, you always just get a better card in Saudi or Abu Dhabi.
Aye.
They've got the money. Like last year, they rejected a card for the UFC. They're like, that's no good enough. We want better. And then that's why they had to come back with, obviously, it had to get rescheduled. That's why they came back with 𝗣𝗘𝗏𝗧𝗪𝗓.
Aye,
And they'd
good
stack the card. If like anywhere else in the world,
was like that.
Dana White would go,
they're taking what the UFC's giving you.
You'll never see us again. That's what he would do.
Enjoy
Aye.
watching it in your telly. You can't.
And then obviously we've got Rakhmonov there, who we're going to go on to, like,
Aye.
Saudi all day for him, eh? Saudi all day. Him and Bilal, some sort of Saudi card. The Muslim world goes bonkers. Sell it in the arena.
That's nice. I like that.
That's what they...
That's a good...
It makes sense. And that's what I mean with Tom and Cyril. It's the same, like, two European guys, big fucking names. Like,
I don't think you get Tom and Cyril and anywhere else other than America.
Oh, absolutely. But that's what I mean. Like, they're both big names. They're both very famous. They're both big followings. They're both fan favourites. Like, Gan's a fan favourite in France. They love him. Handsome big guy in great shape. He's not like a big fat heavyweight. He's
this modern.
Aye.
I like the idea of Rakhmonov and Bilal.
And Bilal.
Aye.
If only people knew who Bilal was, mate. If only security knew. Poor Bilal. Was Machado close?
Machado, I don't think this fight done anything. Like, look, it's moved him up in the rankings.
Wild.
Like,
He was good.
Was he 7 before? Or is he... I thought he went higher than...
Nah, he's stayed where he was.
It's just stayed the same.
I don't think it's done anything to his brand. I think he looked great. I think he put 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏, stopped all his takedowns. Balance looked incredible.
Put him in danger.
Was it the third or fourth he came out? I think it was the fourth he came out and looked like a different beast and was putting there like absolutely cracking 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏. I like Garry. I've always like. I want to see him do well.
Aye.
I like him as a fighter, and I like his IQ. I've said this before. His ring IQ is.
I thought he fought smart. He was sensible. Just didn't do anything fucking stupid. Did pretty much everything right. Just kind of got outworked a wee bit. Eh?
But does 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 look more beautiful?
Human for
against
sure.
Bilal?
Aye. I think Bilal's going to fancy he's going to be like, I'll beat 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏.
Did 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 come out and say, or somebody in his team say he's got a torn ligament in his knee?
Aye. He was fighting with a knee injury.
Everyone's fighting injured, man.
Aye. Same.
Everyone's.
Poor Cyril Gain was 3 broken toes.
Aye. I'd love to sit here and go, well, maybe that's no 100. No one's 100%. Nobody's going in 100%.
Question: what did Bilal do when he was? What happened with Bilal against 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏 because he wasn't 100%?
I pulled it.
Pulled it. What happened with Conor McGregor against Chandler?
Aye, pulled it.
Pulled it. There's nothing to stop. Look, if you've
aye.
So don't come out and be like, the reason I didn't put Ian Garry away was because I was injured. Then that's on you, mate. You chose to come in there.
And if you're injured, that's fine. Nobody's had that against you. Like, if you get hurt,
use it as a crutch to be like, putting shade on Garry. Like, Garry was fighting you. Garry turned up on the day and done a...
And I almost guarantee, not 100% either. He'll have had Sahan, mate. Sahan.
I mean, it was short notice as well. He was preparing for a completely different opponent. He was preparing for Buckley. And
do you think it makes a difference if Ian Garry out with his fighting style in the ring, he gets a team which is his own home and he starts building round about him guys to support him?
Yes.
Because he's still obviously...
He can't be this travelling fighter anymore,
Is he still at Charles Oliveira?
He seems to have kind of settled at shootbox.
But then still again, you're not one of their guys. Maybe it'll change.
How do you become one of the guys though, eh? Like, can you no be?
No, I think he probably will be, but I think he's still early days there. It takes a bit of time to bed into a gym.
Okay.
So maybe...
Does he speak the Portuguese and stuff? Aye, he speaks Portuguese and that. Good, I mean, even that's quite a big commitment.
I want to hang about with him. I want to join his team. Me and the fucking Machado Garry family.
I mean, I don't know how...
Ian Machado, Craig Garry.
I don't know the direction you're looking for that to go in. Pull up a chair, Ian.
when you can't become...
That big comfy one in the corner there, Ian.
Paul, Darren Craig, you've got to branch out.
She's no message you back. Like.
Paul Darren Craig here. How you doing?
Oh, but poor Bilal, security not letting him in. Ian Garry, I think that that fights gave him a bit more respect.
Yeah. Where does he go next? Who?
I'd like to see him fight Colby
I was
Covington,
going to
mate.
say that, Colby Covington.
Because I think it's madness that Colby Covington is ranked above him.
Aye, when he's only fought once and...
And here's even more fucking mental. I watched Chael Sonnen the day. Chael say some controversial things. He went, don't be surprised if you see Colby Covington getting called up for a title shot when he runs through Buckley. And I was like, runs through?
Aye, that's you're looking past.
Hang on a minute here. Like, Colby's very entertaining, but...
What about, because obviously he's number 6, Colby. What if he let Garry do a wee bit of a jump? And I know...
To set up.
Leon Edwards is kind of looking at fighting in March in London, and Garry said he's not going to fight in Europe. When the UFC tells you you're fighting Leon Edwards,
Title shot.
That'd be a cool fight. But then the same again, Gary's probably he's not a fight night fighter anymore, is he?
Main event, I would say so.
He's a bigger name now.
No, I think you could still put him in a fight night main event
Against Leon Edwards. I think that's a fight to make.
Does he think this is the thing, the way when he's saying I'm only going to fight in Dublin, does he think he's a fight night fighter or not? Is he too big? Like, is he doing that?
What if they just scrap the London card, right? Say, listen, we're not going to go to London, we're going to go to Ireland.
I mean, there's people that do it for.
Right? Just be like, we're going to go to Ireland. It's going to be a fight night. It's going to be same time, same.
Everything the same. We're just having it at the 3.
We're just moving it to the 3, and Gary's going to headline against Leon Edwards. That's fun. That's fun. I guess.
It's only half an hour on the plane.
Winner gets the title.
Aye.
Against 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏 versus
Bilal. And I mean, like, Gary's done them a favour stepping on short notice.
Yep,
done a good job. I don't see how losing the fight doesn't mean he can't still progress into another great fight.
Like a couple, like for the UFC to lose a couple of 100,000 or 1 million to move the whole event, I don't think it'd bother.
I don't think they'd bother.
And
as mad as that seen it at first when you said that, I was like, that sounds like something I would say. And then I'm like, no, that's like if your Dana and you are sitting around the table and you just went, we've done London a few times. So what, just fucking
let's just go to somewhere else in Europe.
Aye. Just for Garry.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, mate. Maybe he's big enough now. I don't know. There's a big fight with 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏.
So Garry Edwards in the 3 arena.
In Dublin.
Aye. Same again. Dana, you're welcome, mate. I'm fucking doing your job here.
Winner becomes a tough coach.
That'd be good.
Of the 170 pounders. What a coincidence.
Oh.
Is that? No?
That sounds good, doesn't it? Ian Garry versus Belal Muhammad. But that fight between Belal Muhammad and 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏 would need to have been already ran before March kicks in.
Is Belal still unwell? Like the infections in the bone and stuff like that?
It just looks like that. That's just
right, okay. Just, it's just,
he's not got a disease.
I see.
He's back to training now.
Good.
I'm glad he's better.
He also said that he ran through all his options because he didn't want to pull out the fight, and he said he was seriously considering amputating the toe so he could still fight.
Aye.
Mate, I wish he'd done that, eh?
But how much of that is just
Belal talking piss?
Aye, I'm never going to get called out on this. Nobody can prove I wasn't thinking this.
Aye.
And he's just saying what he wants.
Should have done it, eh? Should have got it cut off.
I was going to do the same with mine.
Your toe?
No, my staff. Take it off. Take it off. Take half of it off at least. There's still enough there for a...
Do you really have staff?
I'll tell you.
Didn't.
I do, mate. I'll tell you the story, right?
I checked you out when I got into bed with you. You looked fine to me.
Will
I give you the one, sir.
Will I tell the staff story here, or will we? How long we've been gone?
Yeah, that's about 45 minutes, so you can squeeze it in here if you want.
So we'll do this, and then because we still need to do the up and coming fights, and then staff story. Staff story might be told in the.
Could be on Patreon.
Aye, but anyway, so we had 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 versus Ashakura. Fucking yes.
The blonde bomber there.
They brought him in just to fucking fight 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 because there's no 𝗟𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏's run through and the top 10, isn't he? Or like the vast majority of the top guys in this division. Like, what do you do with this division now?
Don't know, because Pantoja just kind of done him, eh?
Aye, and then Pantoja then comes out in the post-fight and was like, I want to fight Mighty Mouse, and Mighty Mouse just like, fuck you up to, mate.
Did you see his exact words? No amount of money. Got offered $2 million, still not enough.
But then
I also think that was completely separate. I think it was one who offered him $2 million.
It was one,
and he's tweeted that before Pantoja called him out, and then Pantoja's called him out, and then he's came out and said, there's no amount of money.
like, he leaves the sport in a much better position than any other fighter has left this sport.
Probably ever.
Aye, like, people still require, like, still see him as one of the greatest of all time. He's making a shitload of money off his, like, YouTube playing computer games, Twitch streaming in it.
Yeah.
Like, he's well respected within the sport.
Mate, my son knows who he is through gaming.
Aye.
I was like, you know, that's Demetrius Johnson, like one of the greatest fighters that ever lived. And he's like,
No, he's a streamer.
he plays COD and that.
And he's very
like,
good at it.
I was like, I saw him with my own eyes fucking throw a guy near an armbar. I'm like, did he know what you're doing?
Like, people don't, like, so he doesn't need to fight Pantoja. There's nothing in it for him. Nah. Pantoja's trying to, like, keep himself a champion because what's the options for him? He has to move up.
It's tough for him.
Like,
he's in a hard spot, mate.
For how long have we had an issue with this division?
Aye.
I think it was a great call out. You've got a chance it, don't you?
At the mouse.
Aye. Because if you're what else do you do? And then he's came out and said, I think he's basically said, fair enough, if you don't want to come to retirement, I want to train weight at least.
Give me son.
And then he said for potential opponents, Figgy to move back down, which I don't really see happening unless Figgy was going straight into a title shot.
I mean, if you're getting Figgy a lot of money,
he said
he's doing you the favour.
Kai France, which would be a fresh matchup. And then he also said Muhammad Makayev.
What is he going to go to fucking Brave FC?
I know. Unless it's maybe
fight
like,
him in the McDonald's car park, mate.
And maybe it's unless it's like right, Makayev, you've done your time out, going back in.
Think you never get an opportunity like that?
I don't think he'll get back, Makayev.
Brendan, the guy that won the £1 million. We spoke about
Loughnane.
I think when Dana White decides you're out.
Aye.
But then
Paul Daly.
Aye.
You'll never be back. Do you know what I mean? For his fucking...
I think... to me, it makes the division, it's struggling, but it makes it more impressive that, what is it, Demetrius Johnson had 11 title defences.
Aye.
He had 11, Pantoja's on, that was his third. And we're like, who else is there? How can you get to 11?
Aye.
You know what I mean? It's crazy.
Aye, you're right. I thought 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏 was good, but just Pantoja just overwhelmed him, eh?
It's going for fighting in the English Premiership to playing in the
Champions League.
League. That's all that is. And
just what was he meant to do? Eh?
He's a great addition for that roster, for that division. But I don't know what you do with the division, Pantoja.
He came out, he hit him with his best stuff, and still Pantoja went, all right, cool, man. Hey, watch this. And then just like kind of decent defence for the choke at first, and then just the reality is like, you're not getting out of this, mate.
And did I see he went in at number 14?
Asakura did, yeah. And Pantoja moved up to number 9 on the pound for pound.
So he's beat everyone now except Cara France.
Aye, pretty much.
Oh, let's run back fucking Brendan Moreno.
Maybe I have to fight like two of them or something.
I know, like nobody's like...
It's 3-0 against Moreno.
I know.
I'm going to be honest, does MD care about this division? Being honest?
Nah,
like see when you see these guys are fighting, or this division is fighting, you're like, cool.
They're great fights.
Oh, they are?
They're
Yeah,
great fights.
we don't give a fuck.
You just can't get invested in them.
Like, right, show me some power, show me you killing a guy.
But the second you look at lightweight, you can see like fucking probably 5 guys who you'd rather see.
Yep.
Do you know what I mean?
So
And you couldn't name 5 flyweights, mate.
Do we just move everybody up?
As bad as that sounds, you probably couldn't name 5.
We move them all up, man. Just fucking put on a bit of weight, boys, up to
Aye.
the next division.
Like Pantoja, you start eating a little, and we'll fucking get you in there with Sean O'Malley or something.
Like, I know I'm shitting on that division, man, but I'm just...
Put him in with Sean O'Malley, mate.
That was the plan. Right. If O'Malley beat Merab.
Well, he didn't, eh? So, well, still make it happen.
Speaking of changes in divisions, have you seen Toporia's comments?
With regards to...
he says he thinks we may have seen his last fight at featherweight.
So
he's going to...
He wants to move up, and he said he specifically wants Oliveira.
Oh, that's a good fight.
And then obviously Paddy Pimblett was reacting, saying, new blood in the division, so he's obviously angling for that fight. But
what about me?
Aye. And
who's
any
Paddy
interest?
want to fight? Sorry,
Topuria.
Yeah,
Remember they had beef
Dead.
in London.
No wonder you got fucking rioted by the Russians or something, he said.
Hand sanitizer boy, kept calling him.
Aye.
But I'm interested in that.
Aye, I'm interested in people moving up divisions.
Yep.
And it opens up that division again.
Even after like only 2 title defences.
Yep.
And I know it's the two
No one cares.
The greatest.
two greatest.
The two greatest
Aye.
in that division to ever do it.
People want to be entertained. They don't really care if you got a belt at the end.
Move up and let me see this. Let me see the division. Aye. It opens up that division as well for people to make that division a bit more exciting. I'm not saying that I don't like Topuria, but it opens up that division.
It's a shame for Max, isn't it?
Aye.
Max moving up to lightweight and fucking here comes Topuria right after him.
He's like, come here, you. Where's you're going?
What's
then we'll
happening?
see Diego Lopez versus Volk for the title. You don't want that?
No.
Do you think it's a bad night for Volk?
I love Volk, mate, but I'm a huge Lopez fan. And Volk is like the same thing. He was the great champion, older guy, and here comes fucking Diego Lopez. Like ready to just take his life, eh? Okay, and then, I don't know. It makes me sad, really. But
I'm down with that.
Poirier also maybe expressed interest in Topuria fight. There was a guy tweeted
Sorry?
Poirier.
Aye.
Someone tweeted, that's like the fight to make, and Poirier retweeted it, which obviously isn't a statement saying I want to fight this guy,
Just
but
a couple of guys
it's some sort of
banging each other on the
interest.
chin.
A lot of the Paddy Pimblett, Benoit Saint Denis talk, eh?
For
That'd be a good
London?
fight.
For London, aye. I don't know if this is just the Twitter sphere.
Well, these guys,
But usually where there's a bit of smoke, there's a bit of fire, eh?
Paddy the Paddy.
I like it. I like that Saint Denis.
He's coming off a loss, isn't he? He's coming off a few losses, isn't he?
He got
Aye, Poirier and
by,
Moicano.
Aye, Moicano as well.
big fights though.
Aye.
Money Moicano. I like him.
Mm-hmm.
I like a bit Moicano.
This time of year brings nothing but chaos. You've got the stress of dealing with Christmas. You've got the stress of buying presents for family, loved ones. The last thing you need is to be involved in an accident and have to deal with the stress of dealing with insurance companies, dealing with, am I going to get a courtesy car, dealing with, is it my fault? Am I going to get the money I'm entitled to? Don't worry, G4 Claims has got your back. And if you've been involved in a non-fault accident, why not hit up G4 Claims? The link is in the bio. And Ross, if you don't want to hit the link, Ross, what's that number?
The number is 01698 767 172. You can also get them at notatfaultclaim.com. You can talk to them on WhatsApp as well, or the links are in our description.
So if you have been involved in a non-fault accident, you're looking for the support, some of the best in the business, then why not get in touch with G4 Claims? Their customer service is unparalleled. Hit them up. Is this week's fights?
Alright, so this is the Tampa card, last card of the year.
Venezuela.
Starting with the females.
Josephine
Open up with a
Knudsen.
bang. Davy Grant.
Hi.
He's a wild man. I enjoy him.
Tavares
let's
is
see.
good.
Aye, just keep it up. Did I find somebody that I know? Michael Johnson, what age is he? Paul's obsessed with ages.
I'm a bit on it now as well. Like,
Well, it's not this ring, Michael Johnson.
57.
38, so he's not that old, but he's just been doing it. He's been in the mix.
Aye.
Fought Stevie Ray
He
Beard.
did. Navajo Sterling.
Either you know this guy? English light heavyweight?
Does he train in England?
I don't know.
How do you say his name? Tukos?
Tokos, maybe?
Tukos?
Tuco, like the bad guy in Breaking Bad.
Tukos?
Don't know, not familiar.
Nah.
Go and click on him, we'll see. Go and see if he gets Tapology up, sorry. We'll see. We took
Road to UFC. So he's been in that anyway. Look, 2022.
Fury. So he came for Fury. And then... Is Fury not American? They're an American organisation, aren't they? So he must...
Fought in Bellator there as well.
I don't know. I just thought you would have maybe
came across him.
Came across him, aye.
Definitely not came across him, but hey, we'll be looking out for him.
Aye. There's Jacoby there.
Heavyweights. That's
Jacoby. Cappy. Bruno Silva. Cub Swanson. Big Billy.
Is it it's the last card of the year. Everybody's getting ready for Christmas. They're like, we'll just fucking make up any card.
Aye.
He's all like it.
Who's wanting to do it?
Who's wanting a payday before Christmas?
We trip down to Florida,
Aye.
get paid, have a scuffle, back up the road, in time to put the fucking star on the top of the Christmas tree.
Shit card.
Worst card ever?
No, the worst card ever. It's been some shitty cards. But it's this thing with the UFC, man. They
Too many guys.
They get us all hot and sweaty and horny. Last week, 310, you're like, oh, fucking come on, the UFC. And then he hit us with this shit.
Hit us with this shit.
Like, and it's just because I'm not in the weeds of the UFC. I do not know all the fighters. I know Cub Swanson, but I don't know Billy Quarantillo. Maybe fucking Cub Swanson puts him in quarantine. I don't know. I'm not interested in seeing Colby Covington fight MD.
Do you think the
used,
Colby Covington thing is
he's used his fucking get out of jail free cards and his take a chance on him, and he's rolled a couple of sixes and he's ended up in number 6. We spoke at this previously about who he's fought. He's fought fucking no one within the last few years.
He's not beat anyone.
He's not beat him.
He's definitely not beat any cunt. Leon beat him. I don't know.
Do you want to see Buckley absolutely fuck him up?
I think the fans would prefer to see Buckley win this fight. I'd like to see Buckley win this fight.
I want to see Buckley win the fight and then do a post-fight with DC. That's what I want to see. I want to be like, hey, I'm fucking calling you out.
Get in here, you fat fuck. Do you think DC could put the shorts on and still handle business if he fancied it?
Against Joaquin Buckley? Probably, because he's got that extra weight.
Aye. And so long as he's not had 14 Modelos while he's watching the broadcast. Do you know what I mean?
Against any of the top guys in heavyweight and light heavyweight, probably not. But then he's not interested in that.
He was the man, eh?
Aye, he was. Just never caught, that's all it was.
Just the fans never took to him, eh? He was never liked. I liked him.
Aye.
Could wrestle a bit.
You interested in this card this week? Will you any fights that tickle your pickle?
Cub Swanson and Billy Q, I think will be maybe a good fight.
You just call him Billy Q, aye?
That's what it goes by, aye.
Aye, because
that's too much to say.
Quarantillo is shit.
Call him BQ.
Who's the light heavyweight? Victor?
Vitor Petrino. I'm sure Anthony Smith fought him. Anthony Smith beat him.
Oh, that was that. I think I was maybe at that show.
Aye, that was his last fight.
May the 5th, 2024.
He beat Tyson Pedro.
That's a big one.
Bukaskis. He's got a good wee run on the go here. So that's an interesting fight. But
it's an okay card. So there's been better fight nights.
Just lesser known guys.
So what I'll do is I'll watch this on Sunday and I'll watch the main event and I'll put on the co-main event and
fall asleep on the couch.
I'll just see the rest of the results on the interweb.
Josephine Knudsen. Looks like every Swedish lassie ever.
I watched Davy Grant because, you know, he likes to fucking throw down. And he's a likeable guy. One of Davy Grant.
Aye, he is a likeable guy, yeah.
Aye.
He's been around for a long time.
Aye, where does he train? He trains with a big team in America. Who is it?
Dangerous Davy Grant.
SBG Bishop Auckland, it says. He's fighting out of Vegas.
That's right, I see him in Vegas, that's where it is. I think he's in one of the big gyms like Syndicate. He's jumping about there.
Syndicate.
It's probably in Joanne Calderwood's posts. I've seen him there. Aye, good on you, Davey, man. Enjoy fucking Vegas, son. Get out a wee bit in it, son. You look a bit peely-bally.
Fucking plenty of it out there.
Aye. Go out and get yourself a tan. Make yourself look healthy.
There's just before we move over to the Patreon, there's some more sort of breaking MMA news.
Oh.
There's a new promotion in town.
I've seen this.
Global Fight League.
But they're going to do it in separate areas, aren't they?
So it's team-based. So there's 6 teams across 4 continents. It's teams of 20. And then...
I'm already out.
You're out?
I'm out.
No, but then you bring the guys together and you all fucking battle.
No, the fights are still fucking one-on-one.
Aye, it's still
it's like point-based.
Aye, it's one-on-one, but you've got an area. So say, for instance, you've got fucking the Middle East. They come together and then take on the Europeans.
Maybe I'm in.
The Europeans maybe fight the Americans.
The Fourth Crusade, here we go.
I think they've said that's not how it's going to work. There's a draft.
For now. Let's start some
maybe
fucking race wars.
This shit needs to get tribal.
Like, we're the Europeans, let's go.
But have you seen some of the names that they've got?
I have.
No.
It's weird. So I'll read these out to you because you probably
Greg
won't see
Hardy's
it.
there, mate.
So they've got Tyron Woodley, Fabricio Verdum, Anthony Pettis, Junior Dos Santos, Luke Rockhold, Vanderlei Silva, Alex Gustafsson, Thiago Santos, Kevin Lee, Frank Mir.
I saw Frank Mir was on it this morning and I was like, no fucking way.
This is not coaches, this is actual fighters.
These guys are going to
fighters.
fight, mate.
But so they said, I don't remember the guy's name, it was on Ariel, he's like the founder.
He was at PFL.
He says that they've got a roster of 600, but obviously because it's 6 teams of 20, there'll only be 120 competing. He says everyone else who's like not in those teams, go and do whatever you want. You want to box, go do it, we don't care, do all this. But it's a weird mix.
And this will be running that league format as well.
Aye, so and then it'll eventually be like playoffs and then a final. So they're going to be...
And then there'll be a Champions League final.
Pretty much, aye.
So
I watched how they broke it all during the day and that straight away I was like, nah, too much.
Oh, you don't know until you see it, do you?
We're needing a rival UFC. PFL's not doing it currently.
They've said they're paying more money as well, eh?
And if they're paying guys more money, and there's this sort of format
50,
where we have
50.
a weekly, if we have a weekly fight,
It's got to be weekly.
it's got to be weekly.
Got to be.
If you want to compete with the UFC, it's either has to be weekly or every second week. You can't have
one a month.
You can't have
one a month. Can't have 12 a year, eh?
Aye.
I think you can say all this good stuff. So as you're saying, like the 50-50 split, all their like income is 50-50 split with the fighters. You're not getting shown win money. You're just getting guaranteed money. And they've said the way it'll work is like, so for example, if you're guaranteed purse is 50k, but then the revenue or the income that like the event that you fight on, say you're like in your contract, you get 1% of that, and that 1% ends up being 100 grand. You get the 100 grand instead of the 50. So you always get whatever's more.
Aye.
8%, I'm sure, goes into like a retirement fund for all the fighters.
And post
2% goes into healthcare and insurance for them.
Post,
Beautiful, man.
what's it? Post career care or something they call it.
I'm in.
So it seems very, very fighter friendly.
Yes.
Anthony Pettis and Kevin Lee, who have obviously signed with, were on Ariel as well, and they were sort of bigging it up. They're like, we know exactly what we're getting. Everything's up front. They're great to deal with. So
Good.
it is good. And they've been delaying it. So this guy was on Ariel years ago talking about, right, we're launching this in.
Is this 2025? This is going to definitely go ahead.
Well, that's going to go. So he was on Ariel a few years ago and he said, we're 100% launching this in, I think it was like February 2023. And then they've come out and said, right, we're not there yet, we're delaying it. So they've been pushing it back and they've been pushing it back, which I think is a good thing.
Who's backing it, but who's financially backing it?
He didn't say. He said we do have investors. The investor didn't want to be known. He said that's the main reason that they've had delayed it is because they did need
fucking Tony Soprano.
They did need to get this money, but the investor doesn't want them.
Well, here's the thing. See if you've got like Gordon Ryan in the Middle East getting, but was Gordon Ryan in it? Come in with a big bag of cash. He'd get like £1 million.
Craig Jones.
Craig Jones, sorry.
Craig Gordon, some goalkeeper.
Craig Gordon, aye, playing goals. If you've got investors for jiu-jitsu, why can you not get an investor to back a show like this?
They've said as well, I think the big thing for them, they've said is like the streaming rights. Like, where are you going to be able to watch this? And they said they're in talks with a few places, but if none of them sort of suit, then they've got their own platform that they'll put it on.
Their own platform.
But I think you need someone, don't you?
You need to be mainstream.
Netflix deal. You need some deal like that, and you maybe have to take a hit in the first couple of years so you get onto these big platforms.
Who's their light heavyweights?
So their divisions are strange. Their divisions aren't usual. I think it's like £10 over what they usually are. So for example, bantamweight is like 145. Their lightweight is 165, and light heavyweight off the top of my head is 225.
Fuck that.
But what they've said is
195.
they don't want.
Once we get bigger, like a bigger roster.
But I think
names will get bigger.
they've said that they're doing that because they want to try and eliminate extreme weight cutting. So say if you were in the, say if you were in
fucking 160 then.
Well, they've said if you were in, so for example, if you were in the UFC and you fought at welterweight, so you fought at 170 and you'd cut to that, you'd still fight at their welterweight, which is like
what
185. So you're still fighting in the same weight class by name, but you're heavier.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know if that's like, so say, I don't know, Anthony Pettis, for example, say he wants to fight at lightweight, but their lightweight is 165. So he's like, right, I'll come down to the next one. I don't know if they tell him, no, you're not doing that. You're fighting at 165. I don't know how it's going to work. Obviously, all this will come out.
This is good, man. This is
225.
This is something to mix up the division.
I'm probably heavier than that right now.
Something just to add a bit of, something different. I'm in. And fighters are getting looked after.
I'll fight on it. Right.
Take on Frank Mir.
No, I love Frank Mir, man.
Just fucking low kick him. Well, it's like,
aim for his bad knees.
My knees. I'm in with that. We've also got quite a fair bit of stuff happening in the world of MMA with regards to the announcement of London as well. So we've seen a few big fights come out. We spoke with Mickey Parkin versus 𝗟𝗘𝗏𝗏.
Yes.
We also had Alonzo Menifield versus
Omar Sy.
Aye. Which is a very good fight for the UFC. We've got Alberg versus Błachowicz. So that's a cracking fight.
The legendary Polish power.
Aye, it's one of these fights where we're going to see Alberg getting catapulted into the top 5, or we're going to see him crumble against the fucking Polish wrecking machine.
I might have to give this one to the Polish man, you know.
But then Alberg's got that fucking
good.
Sweet kickboxing.
Yeah, it's got all those city kickboxing guys, eh?
Oh, is Molly McCann?
She's on it. Estella Nunes.
Shannon Bannon as well.
Shauna Bannon's on it.
Shauna Bannon.
And Christian Leroy Duncan as well.
Aye. Card's fucking filling up very nicely.
I was going to say, Chris Duncan's looking like he's been on the sunbeds there. It's obviously not him.
Who is Molly McCann? I don't know who this Nunes is.
No, Estella Nunes.
Is she a gimme?
She a Brazilian?
6 and 5.
I would like.
Who's she fought?
Oh,
It's that 4 straight losses in the UFC. I think that's maybe answers your questions.
I need the same management as Molly McCann.
Injury, dislocated elbow, to be fair, in the first round.
Has she fought any noticeable names in there? No, she hasn't. Her last fight was in one championship.
It's a gimme.
I'm no shitting the name there. But
I got to sell tickets, eh?
Aye, we'll get a third Molly McCann spinning back elbow, or spinning back fist.
Aye. Well, who's Shannon Bannon fighting? It's not Shannon Bannon, it's Shauna.
No one does that to Shauna. What's that one? The Simpsons. Is it Shauna? Jimbo's girlfriend.
You might be right. Now you've got a lassie that was the champion of
Matrix.
Oh,
we said a wee fight night, a wee split division. We are
corner stoppage, unusual.
She's probably getting a little gimme as well. Hey,
we'll get the crowd going.
Who the fuck's my gimme?
It doesn't work like that for the men.
Paul, you're fighting fucking. Who's the next up and coming guy? You're fighting this guy.
By the way, if you beat him, then you're fighting.
But I get it. They're wanting to build their brands. They want to build Bannon. They want to obviously have Molly McCann getting the victory. I like it. It's good. We're not going to see Paddy the Baddie. We're not going to see Mickey Parkin, Tom Aspinall. There's a lot of UK guys I'm probably not going to see fighting there because the cards, there's so many UK guys now and it's so big.
It's impossible to get them out. And some of these guys are too big. Like you say, Tom is too big for that. Too big for and all, with no disrespect.
We've been lucky enough to see Tom so many times.
Aye.
What about the news that got dropped yesterday as we were driving home with the retirement of Jack Shore?
Aye. Out in anywhere, eh?
Aye. We were obviously in the gym and we had done the jiu-jitsu class and done interviews in there, and we'd seen Jack. But he's only 29. He's chose to leave the sport the way he wants to leave it.
I tell you, there's obviously something else.
I think he's coming off a few losses. I think he's coming off a few losses. I just think he knows. Like, his dad's obviously his coach.
Hmm.
Aye, like what fight we've shared a few cards together, and Dr. Stoppage should never have been stopped. I think he was beating the guy, and the doctor had seen he had a cut on his knee. His shin had come out.
Cut on the shin.
On the shin. For kicking.
And
then he cancelled the fight, but he was already
more than halfway through the second round as well. That's dog shit, man.
I know. So he's chose to bow out, and I get it. It's a tough old sport, but I seen the post he was making saying that he's going into coaching. They've obviously got their gym down there, Shore MMA. It's doing very well. Some of the best Welsh fighters have came out of there, like your Jack Marshall,
lovely
like
gym,
Oban Elliott, like.
Maybe the fire will come back. Yeah, maybe he just gone through something.
Maybe he goes that group. Maybe he joins fucking that
Global Fight League.
Global Fight League. I like a name as well. That sounds cool.
Go make some money, bro. Go and get paid.
Hey, we'll see. But best of luck to him in his future endeavours, man. He'll be sadly missing that UK scene of mixed martial arts.
Aye, he's quite a staple, eh?
So is that us?
Aye.
Yeah. So, I gave you a snippet of some of the stuff we're going to speak about this next podcast. Am I going to tell a story about you in the room on Wednesday night?
Oh, aye.
So you can get to hear the...
Oh, aye.
So we went out with Jon Jones and Oban Elliott, and we had a couple of sherbets. Absolutely chaos.
Mate, is that wifey for Coatbridge, the dog shagger? Is she actually?
We'll talk about that. We'll talk about the MSP marrying your first cousin. We'll talk about Paul with his dick issues. We'll talk about what else we got?
What's fine for me, baby?
Dick. So we've got a few things to talk about, and if you're interested, we'll jump over to Patreon. As always, keep it high.
Come and join us, bros.